just never gets over 50 ever again in LA ever again.
I know.
I'd be like, oh my gosh.
Then all of a sudden in Minnesota, it's like 85 all year round.
I'm like, wait a second here.
Holy crap.
And then everyone moves out of LA and it becomes cheaper. Yeah.
Welcome to the No Budget Filmmaking Podcast, presented by Cinema Summit, a podcast about the art of making films, no matter how small the budget. And now, here are your hosts, Alex Stark and Trevor L. Nelson.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. This is episode 42 of the No Budget Filmmaking Podcast, and I am Trevor L. Nelson.
And I'm Alex Stark, and today we're going to be talking about building the perfect kit.
Oh man, it's a tough one.
One of my favorite things.
Oh man, Alex is giddy with joy. But first, what are we drinking, Alex?
Oh, reluctantly, we're drinking cold beer.
Cold beer, Coors. We're on the Coors train again.
The Rockies are blue even when just sitting out.
Okay, you know what, guys? You're going to make fun of us again, but it is 40...
Zeph, just shut your mouth.
Yeah, it is 46 degrees in LA right now. And for some reason, our studio has the worst insulation of any building I've ever been in my life.
I'm wearing two coats right now. Okay.
That sounds so sad.
I'm wearing a pea coat with a hoodie under it.
And he actually was thinking about peeing on the pea coat to warm it up.
I was.
But then
I thought it was like a wetsuit where you're supposed to have a layer of water inside.
Just all over the place. So, don't make fun of us, guys. You know what? It's just a little cold, and we're not used to it here.
Yeah. I mean, we show up in our little hoodies, and it's 46 degrees, and we spend like 7 hours in 46 degree cold. Yeah, you guys in the cold weather, you don't stay outside very much. You go inside to your warmth. We went inside to cold. It's colder inside than it is out. I guarantee it.
Yeah, so that's why it's hard for us to drink this cold beer. But we will power through for you guys for entertainment purposes.
We're doing it for you, really.
Yeah, because nobody sponsors us. Nobody except the fun bot thinks that we're worse when we drink. So, hey, we'll do it.
Yeah.
We're also doing it for those sponsors. Any alcohol company out there, just know that we'll drink you no matter what if you sponsor us, even when it's super cold.
That's true. Imagine if we got sponsored by Jaeger. It's just every time we had to drink Jaeger.
I just threw up a little bit in my mouth. My best Jaeger story is college when I played Edward Jaeger hands.
Yeah.
And I taped a bottle of Jaeger to my hand, and I had to finish it by the time the party was over. And let me just say, I finished that bottle, but I don't remember the party ending.
Can we just say that it doesn't really count if you only have one bottle taped to one hand?
But it was Jaeger. It's not a 40. I mean, I get it.
I'm just saying, but you could take it off. The point of
yeah, I know, but it was a dedication.
I see.
It was just like, you know what? I'm going to do this.
You could have just done it with, basically you're just like, I'm going to drink a whole bottle of Jaeger myself.
Yeah. I may have been drinking beforehand, so I thought it was a good idea to tape it to my hand, but...
just so you don't lose it.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe this is what they talk about when they say we don't talk about anything for the first 20 minutes.
That's probably what it is.
Yeah. Oh, well, you know what? Our entertainment.
Whoopsie daisy.
Yeah, we're entertaining ourselves, so it's fine.
Yeah.
So what's new with us, Alex?
Well,
not too much.
Not a whole lot.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot. Well, first of all, in line with our topic today.
Yes.
We are, and perhaps what inspired the topic today.
Yeah. Yeah.
We are selling off a lot of our equipment.
Man, what a sad day.
We literally just decided this.
I know. Like 3 hours ago, we decided to sell off all of our equipment.
Not all of it, but what we're going to do is keep only the things that work for our quote-unquote perfect equipment package.
Current, like what we're planning on shooting in the next couple years.
Yeah.
That being, by saying that, we're meaning that the $29,000 Chapman dolly we have in our small little studio that we would never use and is too big to put in a car, so we'd never bring anywhere, we're selling it. Because it just doesn't make sense for us right now or in the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
Also,
I'd like to point out that 29,000 is an arbitrary number.
Yes, it is. All these numbers are arbitrary.
You cannot find a price for a Chapman dolly
because they don't sell them. I don't know how we were lucky enough to get one, and that's probably why we spent so much on it, because we're like, you can't buy these.
Yeah,
we'll take it. All of our lighting, a lot of our lighting gone. Going to be upgraded to
new stuff.
We're basically going to take all of our a lot of our equipment that works and buy newer equipment, but less of it.
Yeah, and part of it is that we want to... Well, we'll get into this later.
Yeah, we'll get into it later.
Okay, so what else is new?
So we are... Alex made a joke that we should look back at all of our podcasts and see how many times we said we're finishing up a proposal. We're finishing up our film slate proposal. We're going to start optioning some scripts from friends. We're going to start writing one of the scripts.
The proposal's basically done.
Proposal's done. We want to get one of our scripts written. Make sure that the other script that has been written is ours. And then we're going to start sending it out to people. We know some people and some other people and some more people.
We just know some peoples and things. We're going to do some
pretty
stuff.
Popular.
But basically, the proposal that we've probably been talking about for the past 10 episodes.
10?
I don't know, but I'm just saying.
No, that's 10 weeks.
It's done.
It's done. Alex killed it.
Done.
Alex killed it.
Now we're just doing the behind-the-scenes stuff, making sure everything's in order so that we can start sending it to the people.
Yeah, we want to. What we recommend if you're doing a film slate proposal, not just a proposal for one film, but for multiple films, do what we do, and that is have a script, at least one script ready to go. Because if somebody's really interested, they'll be like, "Oh, this is interesting. I would like to read one of the scripts." And if you're like, "Give me a little bit," that opportunity has passed you by.
Ideally, you'd have all of them.
All of them, but hey, we're rebels.
Yeah,
and dumb, but
yep.
And busy. But so we are almost done with that. And finally, Alex, this proposal, not proposal, but a partnership is kind of your idea. So tell them about the partnership.
Yeah. So another proposal. Speaking of proposals,
proposal.
Sent the proposal to an acting studio here in LA. That is run by an actor and a filmmaker, and they host classes in North Hollywood. And it seemed, without getting too much into it because nothing's really certain yet, it seemed like a good possible partnership to create for Cinema Summit.
Yep.
To do some classes and create online courses in filmmaking and acting.
Yep.
And also in-person events, courses, classes, and things of that nature. So,
which we will let you know on fearlessfilmmaker.com if you join.
That's right. We'll let you know more about it later. Can't say too much now because don't want to jinx it. That's really it. That's what it comes down to.
It's
not that I can't say. It's just that I don't want to jinx it.
We always do that. We always jinx it, and we thought we had a good deal going with getting a TV studio out in Pennsylvania, but we jinxed it.
I'm going to get that TV studio.
We jinxed it.
One way or another.
No? All right. Well, let's do it. All right, so on to the main topic of today. And like we said before, this was This was born out of our realization that we need to sell a lot of our stuff and start building kits that are usable now. Not, oh, man, this would be nice to have 5 years from now.
Right.
Or, man, when we have our next studio, this would be great.
Not only that, I'd say it's less about that.
Fine, screw you.
Because, I mean, if we had great stuff for the future, we're going to keep it. But I'm saying, like, if there's stuff that we don't see us using now or isn't like the ultimate for the future.
The ultimate for the future. Like the Chapman dolly.
Right.
We could probably use that in 5 years. But do we want a better dolly that's not so cumbersome?
Yeah,
probably. Yeah.
And same with our lighting. It's like we have a ton of lighting that we could totally go out and shoot something with.
Yeah.
And it'd be great. Yep. But we want the ultimate kit. That's what we're talking about here. And what do we mean by ultimate? Let's start by defining the perfect, ultimate, uber, vice kit.
I think this mileage may vary, as they say. This will all depend on the person and what they're planning on shooting.
It's a very personal idea.
Look inside, deep inside yourself, and figure out what the perfect.
And it's for you, like, okay, I started off a long time ago thinking the perfect thing was one thing. And turns out I was wrong.
Yeah. And then he got married.
Dead wrong. I used to measure my kit basically in mass.
Yeah, it was the I want to fill up an entire truck.
Yeah.
And that means if I can fill up an entire truck, no matter how crappy the equipment is or repetitive, it's great.
Yeah, or just like unrealistic, you know? Because like I used to be like,
you mean the M18 is not realistic?
I mean, it is.
For you right now, though?
Sure. I mean, I don't know. But like what I'm talking about is like I used to want to have like 2 10-ton trucks, 2 5-tons, and some 1-tons. You know, I just wanted like a whole slew of stuff.
How things have changed, because we had a 2-ton.
Yeah.
And we got
like, let's get this
out of here.
Out of here.
Do not want this anymore. We were working towards our goal and our dream of having like a fleet of vehicles with tons of equipment that we could call on at any moment, and we got one of them.
Yeah, and we were like,
no,
whoa,
absolutely not.
This is the worst idea.
Why did we do this? Who talked me into it? And I looked at Alex, and he was like, "You did." And I was like, "No." And then we fought, and then we sold it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that it wasn't, I wouldn't say a disaster. It just wasn't what we thought it would be. I mean, you got to try these things out, sure.
Yeah.
But there were a lot of issues that came along with it. And the idea, basically, at bottom line is having a ton of gear is nice because it's like, oh, you can just roll in and like shop for whatever you need.
Yeah.
And take it with you. But the idea of having like this huge, like Warner Brothers sized fleet of things, it's like, no, that's not. First of all, we're not going to use that.
No,
like we would rent it out to people, maybe.
But if we want to be like, at one point, we and Alex were actually thinking about taking over a rental company, and then we also sat there and thought, do we want to be a rental company or do we want to make movies?
Yeah.
And the good thing about like Warner Brothers is that they make movies and they have so much equipment they can rent it out too. But we're not there. We're not Warner Brothers.
No.
We aren't making 20 movies a year.
No. And we get what's called, or what I call, gear blindness.
Oh, man.
Where you just sort of are like, I want it all. I can't see what it's for. I don't know why I need this.
I won't even say gear blindness. I will say auction blindness.
Oh, God.
Because it's what the stuff is in the auction. You're like, this is a great deal. It's never going to happen again. I need it right now. And that has resulted in us overflowing at our studio and our our other storage unit.
Yeah, it's terrible. So basically, the perfect kit, I would say, is one that you will use everything you have.
Yep.
For whatever projects you do. So, like, for example, if you are shooting promo videos, you will not need the same things that you would need, that a person shooting feature films would need. Because you'll have, if you get the kit that the person shooting feature films has, you will end up not using 80% of the stuff.
Now, would you recommend, if your end goal is to shoot feature films, start building up that kit, knowing and focusing on things that you could also use to shoot your promos to get more money to buy the stuff.
Right. I think there's crossovers in that, like, pretty much all gear that you could shoot a promo with is the same gear that you could shoot a feature with, but it's not the other way around. It's like the square rectangle thing. You know what I'm saying? Do you get me?
Yeah, I got you.
A square is a rectangle, but a rectangle isn't a square.
Yeah.
It's the same with features, and because like any equipment you can use to shoot a promo, you could use to shoot a feature, but like you wouldn't necessarily use a huge HMI or like a like blaster giant, LEDs like digital Sputnik DS6 crazy things for a promo video. Yeah. So I think the goal here is to evaluate yourself.
Yeah. And the way we're looking at building our perfect kit is we're going to buy the stuff that would work on a promo, but also what we want to use for feature films and focus on getting that stuff first.
Yeah. We say promo, but that's not really true either because that's not really what we do most of the time.
Interviews and like...
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
We're saying promo as an example.
Yes.
Of like the type of thing.
Maybe you do some educational videos or something like that.
Yeah, or like digital shoots.
Yeah.
Like if you're doing a lot of digital stuff, I mean, you really don't need a lot. So now.
Yeah, so it's like you get your, Kino Flow Freestyle Select 30 gaffer kit. Yep. Now, that can be used in a feature.
Sure.
But it also is very handy for your promo, interviews, digital stuff. So go get that one first, because you're building out 2 kits at once, basically.
Yeah.
And then
it's like, you probably don't need a bunch of high rollers.
No. So hold off on those, but you probably need some C-stands. So go for some C-stands first.
Right.
Build out the kit. You want your kit to be able to expand with you. So make sure you're buying stuff that you can use. And when you move on to feature films and shorts, you're not going to have to get rid of that stuff. You can just meld it into your next kit, your phase 2 kit.
I'm also going to instill a rule.
Uh-oh.
I think.
Okay, you think you're going to instill a rule?
I'm not certain about this.
You think it's a rule, or you think you're going to instill it?
I think I'm going to instill it.
All right, go.
Which is for phase 1, what we're calling phase 1, which is stuff that we're going to get and stuff that we have to shoot now.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that it should all be caseable, or like in a case.
Nah, I break rules, man. I'm a rebel. Fuck that.
What happens is all this stuff goes in our cars.
Yep.
Loosey-goosey crap.
Maybe.
Doesn't make for nice packing.
Speak for yourself.
I will, because I'm the one that always has the shit in my truck.
That is true. Okay, so when you say caseable, like, all right, we have 10 hives, right? Hive wasps.
Yeah.
We throw them in a milk crate.
But we're going to sell 2.
Yeah. But we throw them. We have a case that fits 3.
Yeah.
Pelican case works phenomenal. Love it.
Yeah. Nope.
Now
done. Getting rid of it.
Getting rid of the Pelican case.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Oh, because we're going to get 2 cases that fit 4.
Oh, shit. We may have some in storage. Actually.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do.
Yep. Okay, so, but I mean, like, you're talking like you want like foam cases, enclosures, rather than like, they all fit, like 3 of those wasps fit nice in a milk crate.
Yeah, no, we don't want that, because you can't stack that.
Yeah, that's true. I'm just trying to get clarification on your rule so I can break it and bend it. And
that's the problem. Milk crates are great if you can fit the crap in it and it doesn't like go. The problem with milk crates, so we have like a ton of grip gear in milk crates, like baby pins, like candlesticks, all this stuff, but like it slides through the holes.
Milk crates are great for storage on a shelf. They're not good for transport.
I mean, yeah, unless you have a cart.
Yeah.
With milk crates on the cart.
And you don't have to break it all down and take them off.
Yeah.
To transport.
You just wheel it onto like a
Sprinter.
A Sprinter with like a lift gate.
Don't talk about phase 2 yet. Don't talk
that's
about
phase 2.
Okay. All right. So
anyway,
and then,
but like for the biggest thing that I hate, and I'm sure all you guys hate this too, is transporting C-stands. Not only because they're awkward to just like put and like load in somewhere, but like if you've ever tried to load up a cart with C-stand, or like unload a U-Haul with gear, and you have like a rock and roller stand or a cart, I mean, it sucks.
Yeah.
Because you can't stack anything else. It's like you have to basically make one trip of just like C-stands that are like stacked on, bungee corded so they don't like tip over.
Yep.
But Matthews makes these C-stand bags that fit 3. But they're turtle base C-stands, which is, it is what it is. But to me, that's a little bit better. You can stack them on top of each other on a cart, or they have wheels themselves,
and it's all there.
It's just there.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about.
That's the kind of stuff we're talking about. And for us, the stuff is transportable in cars. That's another one of our rules. Yeah. We don't want to have to rent anything so far, a vehicle, to move this stuff to our shoots. It just doesn't. It's no fun. No fun at all. And it costs you money and gas and all that. And you have to go. You have to go get the truck, drop your car off, go load the truck and unload it. Something that's nice that me and Alex did when we did this pilot is that we were able to just leave the stuff in our car overnight because you know what? It was late when we got home. Didn't feel like unloading it, but if you have a truck, you got to return it that night. You got to unload it. Yeah. It sucks.
And really, it's bad practice to leave everything in your car, but whatever.
Yeah, but I have underground parking, so I'm with cameras. And also, man, we have just been jumping all over the place. Another thing that's going to depend on your perfect kit is your budget. How much money do you have to spend?
Right.
And are you pretty confident in getting future gigs, so you'll want to put it on a credit card or take out a loan to pay for this equipment to build out your kit, knowing that you're going to be able to get more gigs down the line because you have better gear and, gear that you're able to bring that beats out other people's, your competitors?
Well, my thing with this is if you say to yourself that you're not going to compromise.
Yeah.
Then you can start off with just one thing.
Yeah.
Or two, just like if you just got the Kino gaffer kit or whatever, and that's it. And then you got a couple stands for it, right? And then you build from there.
Yeah.
Because, or whatever your kit includes. I'm just saying, like, what happens to us is we find a good deal and we compromise.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, that's such a good deal. That would work. But it's not the perfect.
Okay, so here's my question to you then. On that idea, say a listener out there doesn't have $3,000 for the Kino Flow gaffer kit, right?
Yeah. 6,000.
No, that's for two, isn't it?
Nope.
Oh, shit. Okay, 6,000. Now this is even more of a realistic possibility for our listeners out there. Mm-hmm. So they don't have $6,000 for the gaffer kit, right? Would you say to them, you know what? Get the MacTex or get something get a knockoff brand.
No, what I would say is, well, first of all, that's probably not the only thing on their kit, like their perfect list, right?
Yeah, but I'm just saying you said start off. So start off with
something else that isn't the Kinos, that's cheaper.
Yeah.
That's still on the list.
Yeah.
But,
Now, we're talking a little different here because this is a kit for, like, buying, for, like, stuff. Remember, you can always rent this stuff, and so if you can't afford the gaffer kit, rent it for a weekend when you have a gig. And with ShareGrid, you can do it a lot easier now. But we're talking about building your own kit that you can rent out and you can rent yourself out with.
Yeah.
And it also is yours to make money off of, rather than paying someone else to live their dream.
Exactly. So, I mean, like also on our list is like the Hive Wasps, which we already have.
Yeah.
But, you can get two of those instead of the Kinos and light something with those.
I mean, hell, you could get one and do a bounce.
Yeah.
I mean, if you really needed to. Just one, bounce it, got full color spectrum.
Put like a big softy box on it.
Yeah. Not a bad deal. So, like, we learned from our mistakes. We got a lot of gear. And we're hoping that our volume will equal better gear, smaller volume.
Yeah.
Because we compromised. And not to say we weren't able to shoot a lot of cool stuff with the things we got. We made it work. But when you have MacTex, which are LED-type Kinos, and it's not bicolor, you have to switch out bulbs and switch colors, it just takes time, and it gets annoying.
Yeah, and not only that, to me, like, the act of switching the bulbs or the tubes isn't the problem. It's the fact that you have to carry around an entire set of tubes with you. I mean, and for example, one of our fixtures holds, 18 tubes? 18
4-foot tubes. And that's
in
just one
fixture.
Color. And we have two of them.
And we have two of them.
So you'd have to bring 36 extra bulbs in the other color temp to just have,
have the option.
Have the flexibility to change colors. Yeah. Not good. Especially when there's technology out there where not only is it by color, it is full color spectrum.
Yeah. And it's just all, you don't have to switch anything. Just use the little dial.
Exactly. So I guess now we should move on to our phase one. And this phase one for us is interviews, digital shoots, short films and promos and your digital
YouTube shoots.
Digital YouTube and, like, you know, sexual harassment awareness training, stuff like that.
That's Trevor's specialty.
I really have to read the manual, but I got it. So this is like what would be the perfect kit for someone who's getting into that, and this is probably your starting off. What kit do you want to get to before you can say, you know what, I don't need to rent a damn thing if I'm going to go shoot this interview. Not a damn thing. Yeah. You obviously need your camera. Yeah. And your camera in this phase can be a GH5S, can be an A7S, be a Blackmagic pocket camera. Yeah. They all produce great images. You know, you may have to talk to some people about the size of the camera because some people may not take it seriously. But once they see the images that come out of it, it'll look great.
I feel like that those days are over.
That's true.
Because, well, most people don't know. Hey, it doesn't matter. Like they don't have a clue.
Yeah.
Especially if you're shooting like promos and stuff, it's like they have no idea. It's actors that might be like, this is like not a real thing.
Is a student film
because it's not a real movie camera. Boo hoo. Mm-hmm. But and I don't even know if that's true. I've felt that myself. Like I think there's certain like unspoken signals to like actors that say this is like this is a project that I don't know is real. But that's not to say you can't shoot really cool stuff on DSLRs. I mean, we've shot most of our stuff on DSLRs.
Yep.
And that's how we got started.
And it looks great. And it looked great. I didn't have a problem with any of it.
No, loved it.
And then you're going to get into, you want to get into lighting. Alex recommended, well, I mean, okay, sticking with camera first. You got your camera, maybe like an EVO 1 if you want to go a little bit bigger.
Sure. So there's like the camcorder options.
Yeah.
Which if you are going to be doing like documentary stuff, walk and talk type stuff, honestly, like a DSLR is not the best option.
No. So
you got to think about that too.
And keeping with our idea of you buying stuff that you can then use for your phase 2, GH5S, the camcorders are great B and C cameras or behind-the-scene cameras for when you start shooting features. So those aren't going to go to waste once you get into the phase 2 and the big boy cameras because you can use it as a B cam, especially if you stay within your family of cameras and the sensor's the same. You can easily match your B cam, which you originally was your A cam for interviews and digital, with your A cam.
Yeah, exactly.
With your new A cam, I should say. And it's...
You can get like a C200 and then upgrade to like a C700. Or
like we're doing in the reverse way. GH5S, then the LT, and then the V35. We have the V35. Now we're going down to smaller things just so we have a nice B cam and all that. Yeah. And then you want to get your tripods. Now, tripods can be super expensive, but they don't need to be.
Yeah, I'd say it's definitely something worth investing in because you'll find it's really hard to recover from having a bad tripod. I mean, if you have a tripod that's sticky or it doesn't have like smooth pan or doesn't like if it's not rated for your size of camera, it's really hard to deal with that. I mean, there's really nothing you can do.
Yeah.
So I think it's worth it to invest in like an appropriate tripod that is of quality for video production.
And again, you get a good quality tripod with a good weight max, and you can then use your tripod when you get your big camera and not have to get a new one because this tripod's rated for 35 pounds. Well, now when you get your big camera and throw a bunch of accessories on it, you still are under the weight.
Yeah, and I think, early on, we kind of went for cheaper tripods or just tripods that we had around, like available to us.
Yeah.
A lot of the Manfrotto stuff. I mean, we use a lot of Manfrotto stuff at Larry too, and it's like, it's really not ideal.
It's like, it's video camera stuff. It's like,
it's not, it's barely, I mean, I don't know. It's just, it's so, like if you've never used like a Sackler or a Cartoni or an O'Connor, like,
they don't know what they're missing.
You don't. You really don't. It's like night and day. And to me, it's just totally worth it. Okay,
yeah.
Moving on.
I
also think something that every, like, you just need, no matter what, is like a good monitor.
There you go.
Because
there you go.
The monitor is sort of like the key to achieving good video. If you grow accustomed to your monitor, you can basically use any camera. You know exactly how to read the false colors, how to read the like waveforms and all that kind of stuff, how to use the peaking so you know when it's in focus. You sort of like learn that monitor, and then you can take it to different cameras and still get the same results and good results out of any camera.
Yeah. And
so to me, as like a freelance shooter or like an indie film shooter, having a good monitor is like super crucial. So
here you are. You have your camera, you have your tripod, you have your monitor. And then I would say, like, we're not going to talk about the accessories that go with the camera, batteries, stuff like that. That's just a gimme. But I would say finally to do your phase one, like a good setup in the camera department for phase one would be a what am I trying to say here? A nice set of lenses. Yeah. And it depends. The thing that sucks about lenses is that cameras, even if they're in the same family, have different mounts.
Yeah.
But here's where you get a good set of lenses. Now, if you're using something like a DSLR, you can get some decent lenses that aren't super expensive.
Yeah.
You don't have to go to the $5,000 lens range. Nope. You can get I don't know if they sell them anymore. Me and Alex are trying to find this out for when we get our GH5S. Vedra made some really great lenses. They unfortunately were the victims of a break-in and a robbery, and we don't know if they're going to recover and ever sell again.
Yeah.
But their set of how many was their prime set? Was it 6?
6, I think.
6 was $6,000. Now, you think that might be crazy, but keep in mind that the KinoFlow Select 30 gaffer kit is also $6,000.
Yeah.
And the good thing about lenses is that if you keep them up, make sure they're nice and clean, great working order, no scratches, no mold, they hold their value pretty well.
They do. And you can use them for a long time. I mean, it might be difficult. So, like the Vedras, the key is that they're micro four thirds. Mm-hmm. But not a lot of cameras are micro four thirds, so they're a little bit more sketchy, I would say. But sort of like the universal mounts that are used on a lot of cameras, like Canon and PL, and those are the ones really.
Yeah, but if you're going to keep your GH5S or your cameras that use micro four third mounts, then you can keep those lenses and still use them.
Yeah,
that's the idea of the phase one is just the beginning of phase two. Really, you're really just starting at phase two, but just starting smaller.
Yeah, and I think when it comes to, lenses, again, you want to make sure that you're getting stuff for whatever you're doing. So, like doc stuff, you're going to want to zoom. Really,
you're
not going to want primes.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy.
I've
done it. It's a bad idea. Swapping lenses all day long, doing weird stuff. It's just a bad idea. So you want to zoom, and do you need a cinema style like Canon made these cool servo cine zooms, like these mini ones.
Yeah.
Do you need that? I don't know. Do you need just like a photo zoom? Why not?
Yeah.
It's up to you. But again, this is like the ultimate equipment package. That's what we're saying. So it's like, buy the stuff that you're going to be happy with and not sort of like, looking over your shoulder at the other stuff and being like,
I wish I would have got that.
Exactly.
And so now you got your camera department basically filled out for phase one.
We have a few other things.
Yeah, but
shoulder mount.
Yeah, but
follow focus.
Those are things that not necessary, especially if you're on 6 the whole time in an interview. The follow focus isn't really needed. The shoulder mount isn't really needed. Now, again, it all depends on what you're shooting, though, because like Alex said, if you're shooting a doc, you want to zoom, you want a shoulder mount, you want to follow focus.
Follow focus is nice in general, but only if you have like the appropriate lenses. Because it becomes weird when you have the photo lenses that just spin infinitely.
Forever. You'll be screwed. But now you go into you got your I would say a decent phase one camera kit. Now you get into your lighting. And like Alex said, 1 or 2 hive wasps. And what's great about the hive wasps is as you grow to phase 2, you can buy more, and they're useful. You're not going to think to yourself, man, I have too many wasps on set, because they always can be pointed and shaped to whatever you need, and they're great.
Yeah, and I mean, again, these are what we have, but for you, it might be like flex panels or like light mats or something.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, get whatever it is that you think you'll use the most.
In whatever you're doing, even as you move up to features, because light mats can be used on features. Awesome. They're great. If you do like the Kino Flow Select 30s, Alex has fallen in love with them.
So nice. Or like,
Yeah, I mean, those, again, can be used when you're in your phase 1 doing local stuff, doing, client-based stuff. But then at the same time, you don't have to, put them in the closet or sell them when you move up to features, because they will be very useful.
Yeah, exactly. And I think what I like about them, and what I am now looking for in stuff, is versatility. That's really the main reason I like those over other things, is because the freestyle, you can pull out the lighting unit from the Kino housing to make like a flat panel. The control panel can mount to the back, and you can operate it like a Diva.
Yep.
Or you can pull it off and sort of like boom it over someone and have the control panel mounted on the stand. It does all the colors. It has the gel presets, bicolor, dimmable, effects.
Yeah, they're
DMXable.
Awesome. They're awesome.
It's like it checks all the boxes that one could check. And so to me, that's what I'm most interested in for our current ultimate equipment package, is because versatility is key.
Yeah, and you're going to notice that the more versatile a piece of equipment is, the more likely you're going to use it as you progress in your career. There'll be something that comes out new and flashy, and as you get more money and all that, you'll probably want to get it or could get it. But at the same time, you don't need to.
And I think it's one of those things where it's easy to get carried away, and it's also it's super easy to see the shiny object and want it. But when it comes down to it, if you aren't sure that you're going to use it, don't get it. I mean, it's like, I know I want the Kinos because I've used them, and I think they're amazing, and I like them better than anything else out there. At one point I was like, I want the sky panels, but I don't. They're so
what?
They're so big.
Oh my gosh!
They're so heavy. They're junior mounts. You have to have junior stands if you want to boom over someone. You have to do it with a junior mount.
We have an entire studio of buying things that we necessarily didn't have any real plan for using. Those 18 bank MacTechs, just got them because they were awesome.
Got them at auction site on scene.
Yeah, got them at a great deal.
And when we went to pick them up, couldn't fit them in a cargo van.
Nope, we had
because they are giant.
Yep. So, really, and this is where research comes in. Really, and again, with ShareGrid, rent these things before you buy them, because you want to know that you're making a sound decision, because you want to spend the money to get something that you're going to use and not be frustrated with, or not, like Alex said, be looking over your shoulder and be like, well, that guy has the Kino Selects. Those are pretty nice. I wish I would have got those.
Yeah.
But I guess I'll just put some gels on my my bicolor light panel.
I know. It's tough because stuff is constantly coming out.
Yeah.
So there's always it seems like, especially recently, in the past 5 years, you buy a light and then the cool new jazz comes out.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Damn
it's like, you buy the daylight light and then the cool new jazz bicolor comes out and you're like, And then all of a sudden the cool new jazz bicolor with green magenta shift comes out and you're like, oh, man. And then the bicolor with full RGB color spectrum comes out, and you're like, yes. And then the full bicolor with the full RGB color spectrum.
You can do this all night, folks.
And the gel packs comes out, and you're like, oh, man.
One thing I do think...
And then,
oh, God, stop.
But now what I'm saying is I feel like we're reaching a point...
Oh, I think you're going to say what I was going to say.
Where it's sort of... The peak is upon us, and we're about to level out.
I think what we're doing is we're hitting the peak in terms of the technology of the actual lighting itself. Like, most of the things are going to be features that can come out in a firmware update. Like, our hives came full color, blah, blah, blah. But then all of a sudden a firmware came out where they had effects.
Right.
So you're going to have, what's going to happen is you're going to have, these full spectrum, high quality, CRI is really high. And what will happen is they'll just keep releasing firmware that makes them better. But what I think we're going to start seeing is more like the Kino Selects, where the versatility is going to change, where they're going to be able to, break away and then do wireless DMX built in and stuff like that. So I think we are kind of flatlining out in terms of the lights themselves, but like the builds of them are going to definitely improve, and maybe they'll get lighter. Yeah. Maybe they'll get more thinner, robust, more, modular.
Sure.
And that may be where you're like, oh, I really wish I had that. But in terms of not having what one light has, I mean, a firmware update will give you a gel pack.
Yeah. But what I'm saying now is like we are seeing now sort of like the options.
Yeah.
Whereas before it was a panel of LEDs with the controls on the back.
Yeah.
And, that's what it was.
Uh-huh.
And then, even, the old Kino Celebs were that. It's like an LED panel. But even they then made, the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You can get the Diva or the Celebs now.
Yeah.
But, I mean, now they have also let you know, hey, there's the option to have this thing that removes, and you can use it like a ballast.
Yeah. No, then that's the thing.
So now, the options are known, at least... and whether or not the light you have or you want has the options is still in question. But now oh, maybe one day they could come out with a modular thing. So I don't know. Do I want that, or do I want this other kit that has the modular thing?
I still think there's going to be some things that come out that are going to be oh, I didn't even know that was possible. You never know. It's just...
It's like a floating light.
Or something. There's always... I mean, again, not that it seemed so crazy when it came out, but it was one of those, why didn't I think of that moments? It's these Sputnik tubes, the digital Sputniks. You just think, oh, wait a second. And they daisy chain together and they can be programmed and all that. You're like, wait a second here. Now, this is something a little different. And you're like, wait, okay.
Yeah.
And which is why it's on our Phase 2 list.
Yes, but I think those are what I would call specialty lights.
Okay, that's fair.
You could light a interview with them, but why?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're so, I don't know, weird. They're meant for production design and sticking in weird places and stuff. It's not really meant for primary lights.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's fair.
But anyway.
Okay, and so now, I mean, grip is, a Phase 1 of grip is...
Yeah, I have a lot of stuff on there because
You're a grip whore.
I am. We had a lot already of it.
Yes, that's true.
But I think C-stands, like you said, are super crucial.
Mm-hmm.
We have a Dana dolly.
Yeah.
So low Boyd combo stands are crucial.
Yep. I do think that road rags kits are good. Some flags.
Yeah, that's one thing that I have been missing in my life is a solid 4x4 collapsible frame and rag kit.
Yeah.
I have on the list the Road Flags 2 kit, but I honestly don't want that. But I put it there
to remind you
for consistency.
Yeah.
Because I hate the idea of having the road rags and then not having the Matthews Road Flags 4x4 kit and instead having something else.
So weird. You are so weird.
But I mean, it's like I can't tell you how many times I've needed a 4x4 and I just don't have it.
Yep.
So that's one of those things. Got to have a collapsible 4x4 kit with like a silk. The Westcott one has like a floppy flag, which is really cool. Stuff like that just really comes in handy.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that's a pretty solid like base for grip. Flags, some stands.
Yeah.
Sandbags,
Sandbags. And we didn't even mention, like, we said C stands, but I think you probably want some baby stands.
Yeah.
We have kit stands, like some like medium duty kit stands that work pretty well for like the light LEDs that we have, like the super lightweight stuff.
Yeah.
So we don't need like the beefy babies and stuff. And the C stands are what you're going to need when it comes to like using the flags and the road regs
and the Kino Selects if you get those.
The Selects and all that kind of stuff. So you got to have a few things. I did add a luxury item, I would call it. The Kupo Junior Boom Stand. Did you see that I put that in there?
I didn't. I'm seeing it now.
So one thing that we use all the time at Larry for interviews are menace arms, which allow you to boom a light really far over people.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. And when we can't rent them, it sucks. And we have to use C stands, and you just can't arm out very far, and it's annoying. So I found these Kupo Junior Boom Stands, which are basically like combo stands that convert into a sort of like 9-foot boom arm.
Yep.
Which is great because, again, we want these to fit in the car. If you use a menace arm, you have to get pipe, which has to fit in your car at full length. It doesn't like telescope out. Yep. It's just a piece of pipe. So you're going to have to get like a 9 or 10-foot piece of pipe, which sucks. So I saw those. I think they would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
For like the interview stuff that we do.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. And then finally, if we've talked about this so many times, you're going to want audio if you're not going to rent somebody to do audio.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing is that Phase 1 audio is kind of like Phase 2 audio. The stuff, if you're going to do your own sound, you kind of get the stuff that you can use on a film. Maybe your recorder changes a little bit.
And you might just get more lavs.
Yeah. So I would say you need a recorder. You need something like a Zoom H6 just for interviews and all that. If you're just doing interviews, Zoom H6 is great.
Yep.
And you can use it on features, so that's not a throwaway item once you move up to Phase 2.
Yeah.
You could get, and then, I know professional sound guys that still use Sennheiser G4s and G5s.
Yeah.
And those are fine. And they're a little bit cheaper than Zaccoms or Lectrosonics, but they can still be used at a professional level for features.
Yeah, I think one thing with the sound especially, at least for us, it may be different for you guys.
Yeah.
If you don't know the difference and you can't tell the difference, then it might not be worth it.
Yeah.
To get like the super expensive like top shelf thing.
Yeah, when you move up to the top shelf, you're getting cleaner audio because there's not as much distortion, and then you have little bells and whistles that are nice. Like the Zaccom, you can, it's wireless control, so you can raise and lower the decibels, the volume on the pack when it's on the actor without having to go over to them and adjust it. Zaccoms.
What's the one that lets you use like the tones to adjust settings?
That I think is electrosonic. And so what you do is you go up to the electrosonic mic and you do a tone, and it'll go through the mic and it'll register, and it'll increase or decrease volume. Zaccom also has, I think they patented this, which is why it's only Zaccom, internal recording on the actual lavalier. So you can put a little SD card in the lavalier pack that you connect to the actor, and it'll record locally. So if you do lose the signal, doesn't matter. You got a local record on a card that you can pop out.
Yeah.
So that stuff is good.
Like that's sweet.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if you don't really know what you're doing,
exactly,
might not be worth it.
Exactly. And at the same time, if you get your Sennheiser wireless lavs, when you move up to features, you may just hire somebody. So you never know. But like most of the professional grade ones that you buy at level 1 can be used in level 2 if you're going to do your own sound on a feature, which I would not recommend. But have at it. Have at it.
Yeah. Exactly.
So that kind of does it for the phase 1. And then phase 2 is kind of adding on because you want to build your phase 1 as something that doesn't become obsolete when you grow up to the grow up to the big boy productions. Hey, it's a waste of money to think that, okay, well, when I go, do bigger productions, I'm just going to get rid of all this other stuff because it was useless. No, you want to build your kits that can expand and grow with you as an artist.
Yeah, exactly. So the stuff that I've put on here is just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah,
again, because it's the ultimate dream equipment package.
Yeah, for us. Yours may vary.
Yours may vary. So one thing that is not included in phase 1 are what I like to call the big gun lights.
Oh, let's start with camera first. I know you're a lighting guy.
Okay, I'm just going in the order that it is.
I know,
on
but
this sheet.
I'm just going by what we did last time. We did camera first. Fine.
Doesn't matter. They're not taking notes. But okay.
They should be. This is so important.
Yeah, let's do camera. I think a large monitor.
Yes,
is key.
The director monitor kind of thing.
Director monitor. Something that you can, like, if you're DPing or directing, you can just sit behind the monitor, the big monitor, while the camera operator is doing his thing.
And you can see clear detail. It's not some little small thing.
Nice colors, accurate colors.
Yeah.
And the one that we have written down is the Atomos Sumo 19-inch, which also can record. So you could record little dailies if your camera doesn't do that, or like proxies or whatever. So yeah, I mean, having something like that and then another thing is a wireless video system.
Yep, like a Teradek or a Paralinx, which will send the video to the 19-inch monitor, and at the same time, other monitors around.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice to have, but a luxury. Phase 2, though. Phase 2, because as you get to
phase 2 is all about luxury.
Luxury and bigger production. So when you're in phase 2, you're probably not going to be behind the camera the whole time.
Right.
I think phase 1, that's why you want your little small HD monitor on the camera.
Operator. You're still going to want those.
Yeah, you're
someone's
still going to
want
them. Exactly. Still want them, but you want to upgrade so that when you're sitting at your sweet little director chair or DP chair, you can just watch in a beautiful 19-inch screen everything that's going on without having to be right behind the camera.
Yep.
Upgrade. And then for the camera, you want some wireless follow focus.
Yeah, and again, like this is for our phase 2, which is features. If your phase 2 is not features, or if you don't even have a phase 2, don't even worry about it.
Yeah, don't even worry about it. But for us, you're going to have your first AC.
Wireless focus is pretty clutch, as they say.
Oh, man, it is nice.
So having one, we have the Red Rock Micro wireless follow focus, which is like a middle of the road.
Yeah. Upgrade.
But I think, and I don't know if we would want anything other than that.
Yeah, I don't know. We'd have to play with it more. But then here you go. You got your Teradek or your Paralinx wireless video system. Then on top of that, you have another monitor that the person doing the wireless follow focus can watch as well.
Yeah.
Look at this. It all just connects together. All right, now we'll get to Alex's lighting package of his creme de la creme luxury package for features.
Yeah. So, I mean, I went for the big guns for the features because you're going to want to be doing things like simulating sunlight. You're going to want to be doing things like battling sunlight.
Yep. Keep talking.
And lighting large spaces, things like that. So, man, it's almost like ridiculous for me to even, I feel like, have these on there. But I put the digital Sputnik DS6.
I know you did. I'd be disappointed if you didn't. I'll admit it. I would be disappointed if I didn't see it on there.
They're giant. Which again is like, I don't want giant lights, but
I know.
But phase 2, involves a Sprinter.
Yes. Okay. We should start that off with Phase 2 is Sprinter van. So you have an extra van for us. This is not your car. This is not, something where you bring the dog around on the weekends. This is strictly jam it with equipment because you're going on a shoot.
Yeah. And so for us, Phase 2, we want everything to be able to fit into one Sprinter. Mm-hmm. That's the goal.
That's the goal.
Because, we don't want
the second Sprinter. You add another $20,000 onto everything.
You just don't want to deal with it. And also, we want a Sprinter because, as we mentioned, we had a truck at one point. One of the reasons we didn't like it was a pain to drive around.
Yep.
Having a van is going to be a little bit better.
Much better.
We probably don't want like the giant XL Sprinter. We want like the Schmieds.
Schmedium Sprinter. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perf.
So something that's easy to jet around, but can still fit enough gear to do the thing. Anyway, so that's why I think the digital Sputnik DS6 is okay, even though they're large. They're the big gun lights, they have to be large if you're going to have them. The other options are things like the Jab Punch by Aidentech, also huge.
Yep.
The Neela Arena lights or Boxers, also huge.
Yep.
They're all big when it comes to the big guns. That's why they're called the big guns, people. So, it is what it is. Yeah. I chose the digital Sputnik because, once again, it has the features that one might need.
Yep.
To
like what, Alex? Give us a promo.
Well, you can.
Alex loves these things.
They're so cool. They're so cool. It's actually each unit is actually 6 little lights, but they're wirelessly controlled,
which is the
full
future.
Color spectrum. Mm-hmm. The whole shebang, guys.
What do they pump out?
I don't even know.
Okay.
I don't know. They're just bright. They're bright. And they are...
very technical over here.
Yeah, I forget. I don't even remember. Some of you may be like, well, why'd you pick that over the sky panels? Because those also are very bright. And...
guys, get off the sky panels.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, I like the digital Sputnik because... what it is, it's like arrays of LEDs in little PAR lenses. So they're much more power. They have more punch, whereas the sky panel is like a flat, soft light.
Yep.
Which, in my opinion, it's like you can create the flat light, or the soft light, I mean, with modifiers or bouncing or whatever. Mm-hmm. But you can't really create hard light from the sky panel.
Yeah. Yep.
So... it's one of those things.
These are Alex's babies. These of course cost $14,000 new
a piece.
But you know what? This is ultimate package.
This is the dream.
Ultimate package. Yep.
And then I've also included the Astera Titan tubes, which instead of the digital Sputnik Voyager, it shows the Astera Titan tubes.
These things are cool. They have little attachments. You can hang them. You can attach them in different ways to the wall.
Just do all sorts.
There's
of stuff.
all sorts of things, and they're battery powered, and they charge in the case.
So cool.
So cool.
Yeah, they're great. And again, these are sort of like luxury lights. I mean, it's like, if you're shooting a feature, you could just like stick them up on the wall and they could look like fixtures that are meant to be there, like practicals or whatever. You could stick them up on the ceiling and they could look like
fluorescent lights, yeah. And then they start flickering and you have full control.
Yeah. Or I always think about, there's a scene in Blade Runner 2049. Where they're in a bathroom. Mm-hmm. It's at the very beginning. And he's got, there's like a tube over the mirror.
Okay.
And it's very clearly a one of these LED tubes.
Okay.
And it's like got a color to it, so it looks all cool.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But it's just like right in the frame, It's like part of the set dressing.
Yeah.
And that's what's cool about these. It's like
they don't look
double duty.
Yeah.
Again, it's like versatility. You could put them into like some type of fixture as a 4-bank,
like Kino type thing.
If you need an extra unit. So that's nice as well. But really they're great for like sticking under shelves, under or sticking onto the wall or the ceiling, or in little nooks and crannies, or like into the set builds and stuff. That's what they're for.
Yeah.
And then similarly, the Westcott Flex Cine RGBW.
These
kits.
things are so sick. They're super thin. I mean,
super thin and light, but very bright.
Very bright. It is what it is. They're flexible. You just can bend them.
Again, it's about the versatility when it comes to those. You can tape them to the ceiling. Like, one of my favorite things about these lights is like just seeing how people use them, because they're so cool. You can stick it, like I've seen people do shoots in elevators, like real elevators, where it's just tiny. It's a tiny space. You don't really want to be shooting in a real elevator. But if you have to, I mean, how are you going to light that if you don't have tiny little LEDs that you can tape up to the ceiling? Like, that's what you do.
And they're building mounts for them so that they can be, again, set up like a Kino fixture and all that, with barn doors and all that. But I mean, the versatility is there.
It comes with those.
Does it already? I thought maybe the video I saw was old, where it said,
"Oh yeah,
that's what we're coming out with
now."
next.
They have them. They have the yokes with like the soft box. Oh, yeah,
so basically, they look like a Kino, but you can peel them off and stick them on the wall, and they're super flat.
Yep.
Versatility.
Sweet.
Yep.
Well, okay. This again, it's like, I don't even know if these are going to stay on the list, but the Lightgear Light Tile 4x4 kits. Those are like a probably not. Honestly, but they're kind of cool. The Lightgear, if you haven't seen the Lightgear light tiles, it's a great idea. They're basically like foldable cloth lights, panels that you can stick in 4x4 or 8x8 frames. That's 8 feet, so you can make like huge sources.
Huge. Yeah.
You stick them in like an overhead frame, like you would a silk or something, or a net.
Yep.
And you can create these ginormous sources that you can stick out of windows, or like put up really high to simulate like a big softy source.
And they're pretty bright.
Pretty bright.
Pretty bright.
So, I don't know. I'm probably going to lose those from the Dream Kit, because when it comes down to it, the Flex Cine lights are going to do the trick.
Yeah.
And our big gun digital Sputniks are going to do the trick.
$14,000 light.
They better do the trick.
Keep going.
Lastly, on that list, we have the Lightgear Light Ribbon kit.
Now, this I think will stay. These will stay.
Yeah.
These are cool.
Only because you get in those situations, and actually it came up on a little short we did not too long ago, where we had a shot in a car. And I was scratching my head, like, what do we have to light this car scene? Nothing, really. I mean, we did. I just didn't think of it. But I ended up using these 1x1 panels, which was crazy and stupid. It was a pain. But the Lightgear Light Ribbon kits are just basically like raw LED strips.
Strips that you buy if you go to like a supply store.
Yeah, but these are like really color accurate. You can get bicolor ones too, and they have little dimmers and like power banks. You can power them with like AA batteries. Yeah. And then you can just like stick them wherever. Stick them on the dash of a car. They use them in like the Avenger movies for like the suits and stuff. You can stick them in costumes.
Yep, they're legit. I love them.
Put them all over the place.
Yeah.
So those are definitely handy, and they make little kits.
Yep.
Pretty cool.
Yep. And then for sound, you got your sweet lavs, you got your Zoom H6, but then you want to kind of move up to something like the Sound Devices 633. Just gives you a little more control of levels, basically anything you want to do, better ways of recording, of monitoring and metering your audio, much more inputs if you have more people, actors acting, as they say. Yeah. Just as a beefier, more robust recording system.
And really, in my opinion, what it comes down to with the sound and like the different things is usability in the field. Because if you're booming, you can't. It's hard to be adjusting the H6 with the little knobs and stuff. You're gonna want like a bag.
You want your shoulder bag that
sits on the front of you. with the mixer in it, so you can look down and like mix and have the boom and have the lavs all up in the bag with everything. It's just like all together. It's like a whole system. These audio guys, they got it figured out. They know what they're doing.
You guys are smart. That's why we hire you instead of doing it ourselves.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, I mean, you know, it's just so hard. If you've ever been on a shoot and you tried to use like a little mini recorder.
Not fun.
And especially if you're running and gunning or like doing a doc type thing where you're traveling, it's just not ideal.
There's ways to do it, but even then, the best ways are not ideal rather than getting a 633 in a bag with everything in there.
Yeah, because with the H6, even if you got a bag for it, the knobs aren't accessible while you can see the meters. It's
not really a run and gun or booming kind of thing. It is for interviews. It's for vlogging, and it's for
like setting on a table.
Yep.
And viewing it that way.
Yep, and then making your slight adjustments as some people are talking, but not live mixing or anything like that, which the 633 definitely is. Mm-hmm. And then as you get into grip.
Yeah, I haven't even filled out the grip section yet.
I mean, we could go on, but you get your high rollers.
Yep.
You get carts. Carts are huge.
Especially, only if you have
a sprinter
or a truck. But
yep. But that's what our phase 2 is, a sprinter.
Yeah, and I have discovered the backstage collapsible van gurney, which
thing looks so sick.
Again, it's like we want things that are smaller, sleeker,
and make our lives easier.
Make our lives easier. That cart fits in like regular doorways. It fits in elevators. Unlike regular studio carts that are huge, you know, it's collapsible.
Yeah.
It's crazy. That's great. That's what we want.
Big fan. That's the kind of stuff we need. The stuff that makes life easier but doesn't take up too much room doing it.
Yeah. But when it comes to grip for a sprinter and the ultimate equipment package, you get the idea. If you've ever seen like a sprinter package, it's, you know, stands, apple boxes, sandbags.
The whole shebang.
Little clamps and clips. We have a ton of that stuff.
Noga arms, stuff like that. I mean, just
everything, all those little bibs and bobs.
Bibs and bobs.
But just enough to fit on the sprinter.
Yeah, not more. Not more. Don't throw an extra gig bag in your car of them. No. Don't need that much. You're overdoing it.
And then we have a little extra area for power.
Yes.
Because, well, you're going to get in some situations where power's not an option or it's just not great. So, you know, we've brought it up before. We've shot out in the woods for an evening where there was zero power. We've been to locations where we didn't have access to, you know, more than like a plug or older buildings where the power is just not great.
Yep.
And you don't know, like, you know, like our building that we're in, some of the outlets don't even work.
Yeah.
So you could be out of luck when it comes to, you know, having power at a location and stuff like that.
Hopefully you've done some location scouting and checked the outlets, but you never know. You know what? Things get overlooked.
Yeah. You could also run into the situation. So I was on a shoot once where I was using all LEDs, and I was relatively confident, or I was really confident that I would have no problem with power.
Yeah.
In terms of like overloading anything. But I accidentally ran power from an outlet that I didn't realize was connected to a pool pump. And so it was right at the edge already. And when I had I plugged in a couple lights, and they were only like 75-watt lights, but it blew the circuit. And if we hadn't, if the owner of the property hadn't been there, we would have been out of luck. And that's why we've included some Goal Zero Yeti 3000s.
Oh, man, these things are great.
Which is just portable battery power that you can use anywhere, like a generator.
Yeah, so you could either use it to draw directly out of it to do your lights, or since we have two on our list, you have one to draw power from for your lights, but at the same time, another one's charging your batteries.
Yep.
Charging your camera batteries, charging your monitor batteries, all that good stuff. Always charging, always power.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of our dream kit. We got a lot of phase one, just from everything we've done.
Yeah.
Everything we bought in auctions and all that. Now we're we're kind of working backwards. We got the phase, the phase 2 camera already, the V35. Now we're working back and getting the LT and the GH5S. But we're working towards it.
Yeah.
We're working towards our dream kit where we feel confident enough to be able to go to any situation, any movie aside from $100 million blockbuster and shoot the shit out of it.
Yeah, and I think, our kit's going to be really stupid to some people.
Yeah.
Your kit might be really stupid to us.
Exactly. It really will be stupid to us, yeah.
But I think it comes down to experience. You want to test everything out. You want to get your hands on stuff and make sure it's actually exactly what you want.
Yeah.
And your opinions will probably change over time. Like if you're a young filmmaker, you will probably think you want something now that you won't in the future, and that's just never really going to change.
Yep.
I feel like as we get older, the stuff that we're going to want is going to be way different than what we want now. But at the moment, this is what we're going for.
This is our dream package, and this is, I think, what we're going to be very happy with once we get it all filled out. But again, it all depends on your personal preference and what you're planning on shooting. Just do the research and know that in the long run, it's better to pay the higher price now because you're going to be happy with the stuff longer. And not only that, but you'll also be able to, charge a little bit more for your services and for what you want to do.
Yeah. And I think some of you might be screaming at the at your phone or whatever that this is a podcast about no budget filmmaking, and we're talking about
$14,000 lights,
expensive stuff. But I think it's important to remember that, one of the benefits of purchasing, if it makes sense, like if you have the work to back it up, is that the cost gets spread out over multiple projects. So, like, for example, buying any of these lights, if you make 5 films with them, you will have, easily covered the cost of them in what you would have paid in rentals, and stuff like that. So it's important to think about that. If you're going to, how many gigs you're going to be using them for, what they cost to rent, how much you'd be spending on renting it compared to how much it costs to buy it, how long it's going to take for you to basically like earn back the cost of that light and then start sort of like making money on it.
Yeah. And just like our kit evolves from phase 1 to phase 2, you guys are going to start off doing no budget films, but the end goal, I think, for any filmmaker is to make films with and projects with bigger and bigger budgets. So as your budgets grow, your equipment should grow. So yeah, this is no budget filmmaking, but I don't think 20 years into your career you're still hoping to do no budget filmmaking. If you do, that's more power to you. But I think for the most part, people here want to increase their budget, increase their production value, and that means you have an increased kit and a little bit more money. And so
some of you may just want to rent.
Through it. Yeah,
that's fine too.
Renting's fine. Rent from us.
Fine. Yeah, rent from us, please.
All right, so was a long drawn out build your perfect kit. But let's get into what's cool real quick before we lose them up forever.
Yeah. Okay. So what's cool? Grayscale Gorilla, which is a company I have been aware of for quite some time.
Okay.
They specialize in cinema 4D.
Oh.
What was really cool about them back in the day was they made like a cinema 4D light kit.
Oh.
So you could light your 3D scenes with what amounted to sort of like light fixtures that were equivalent to things that you were familiar with in real life. So lighting a CG scene became easier for those of us who were more familiar with like traditional like live action lighting, because they had like little kinos, they had China balls and like all this stuff that emitted light in the same way, so you could place them around and get the light how you want them.
That's pretty cool.
But now they are doing, I think they're celebrating 15 years.
Jeez.
Something like that. And he's giving away a ton of stuff. I think it's like $18,000 worth of stuff, including like a sweet laptop, the entire Red Giant suite, Blackmagic Resolve Studio, all sorts of stuff.
That's pretty cool.
So, links in the description.
Yeah, check it out.
Go click on it and submit.
Yeah, win some stuff. I got the Rococo Smart Suit Pro. So this has been out for a little bit, but they finally did a review that I read. It's a motion capture suit. And you've probably seen other ones out there, maybe some that are a little cheaper, a little more expensive. This one's right in the middle, about $2,500. And it is a motion capture suit that connects to, I think it's Destiny, if I remember correctly. And so what it does is it has 19 built-in sensors in there, does not have the fingers, which, you know, a suit like the, what suit was that? The, what am I looking for? Perception Neuron. It has the fingertips. This one does not, which is, you know, a bummer. But, oh, no, Unity is what it is, not Destiny. So, but it connects easily to Unity, and people are saying that the quality of the capturing is a lot better than something like the Perception Neuron. So if you're into motion capture and want to start doing motion capture on the DL, not super expensive, check out the Rococo Smart Suit Pro. It's a nice little suit that kind of zips on, almost like a wetsuit, and then get to going.
I'm not going to lie, that's one of my least favorite things about it.
That it looks like a wetsuit?
Yeah. I like the Perception Neuron in that it's just like little straps you wrap around your existing clothes.
Oh, get out of here. It's not about fashion. It's about performance.
It's about looking like a like a beatnik. Let's see what else we got. Oh, the Aperture Fresnel 2X. So a lot of you probably use the Aperture Lightstorm lights, the 120D and 300D. Mm-hmm. They have some cool accessories, as you know. One of them is a Fresnel attachment, but now they have the Fresnel 2X attachment, which is twice as powerful as their old Fresnel. So you get more output with the accessory than you did in the previous model. Nice. Which is pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool. I got the Red Cat 250 milliliter. Man, sleepy. Red Cat 250 millimeter f4.9 lens. This is what they are claiming. Now, it's a Kickstarter, so it's, you know, relatively fresh and new, so claims should be taken with a grain of salt. It is by William Optics. It's a Kickstarter for a ridiculously sharp, you know, close-up lens. I saw some footage of it. They were shooting I think they were hummingbirds. I'm not going to lie, ridiculously sharp.
Nice.
This lens looks sick. They shot it on a GH5. It looks awesome.
250. Wow.
250. 55. Wiggity schwo. But
that's pretty long.
Yeah. It's a long lens, and they say that the sharpness is rivaling the Canons.
That's cool.
But it's really cool. Follow the link in the show notes and check out the footage that they've done, the test footage. Pretty sharp. I was impressed. So if you're into very long lenses, give it a check out.
The coolest part is the interchangeable mounts.
Yeah. Which I think is becoming more and more common these days.
Yeah, and it should be. That's awesome.
It's fantastic.
It's so annoying. Well, it's like, what should have the interchangeable mounts, the camera or the lenses? I don't know. But one of them should have it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I completely agree. And you see more cameras have it. Granted, it seems to be that a lot of them are send it in and we'll change the mount rather than a quick thing. So if it's easier on the lens itself to do a quick change of the mount, I'd say put on the lens.
Well, a lot of cameras nowadays you can do yourself. You just unscrew 4 screws and then stick it out. But, you know, we'll see. We'll see. I don't even know how easy it is to change the mounts on those lenses. Let's see. I saw the Wooden Camera Zipbox Pro.
Oh, okay.
Which is a little matte box that Wooden Camera has made. It's kind of cool. I didn't think I would like it. I'd be like, oh no. I was like pretty skeptical when I clicked on it. I was like, oh god, another matte box. Like, what are they doing?
Stupid.
How could you really improve upon what is essentially a black box. But they've done it.
They've done it.
Kind of.
Oh my God, they've done it.
Basically, it's a pretty pretty bare bones system. But what's cool about it is it uses interchangeable backs.
Oh.
So the matte box itself can either be a clamp-on,
okay,
or a swing-away, based on the back that you put on it. So it has there's a swing-away back that uses step-down rings,
okay,
for the different lens sizes.
Nice.
Or you can get clip-on backs in different sizes.
Oh, that's really cool.
To put onto your lenses.
You're right. They did it.
They did it.
They improved upon the matte box.
And that's great. But they also have this really interesting way to put in the filters.
How so?
So normally you would put the filter in a tray, and then you slide the tray into the matte box in front of the lens.
Pretty straightforward, yeah.
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
In this, however, you take the glass filter, and you stick it in, and there's a little clip that just holds it in place.
Interesting.
And it can hold up to 3 that way.
What?
Yeah. Kind of interesting.
That's very interesting.
So there's no trays.
No trays.
The one thing that you lose is the ability. Some matte boxes have the ability to rotate filters. So certain filters like polarizers and stuff change based on how it's rotated.
Yeah.
You don't have that option with this.
But
whatever.
It's a trade-off.
And then it also has a little flag on the top. A little clip-on flippity-floppity flag.
If you don't want the J.J. Abrams.
Yeah. But the best part about it is the price.
And it is?
Well, it's about... Well, it depends.
Yeah.
Depends. So the clip-on is cheaper, but it only comes with one clippity-clip size. So if you have, like, a lens set like ours where it's all the same diameter, you only need one clippity-clip.
Good to go.
Good to go. But if you want to be able to use it on multiple things or rent it out, you're going to need all the clippity-clips.
It sounds so professional.
That is $399.
That's not bad.
If you want the swing-away version, it's $499. But it comes with all of the step-down rings. So you can use it on all the different sizes.
That's not bad. That's not a bad price at all.
It's not. And
especially for those features.
Small. What I like about it is it's small. So it's like, I feel like they really have made this for like the gimbal-y people, you know?
They really went and looked at all the matte boxes that were out there and like, why do these suck?
Yeah, they're like, why are they so big and weird? So it's tiny and it's like low profile. It looks good. I don't know. I like the way it looks. Maybe you don't. Tell me what you think about it.
I mean, I like wooden camera stuff. I think they always make a good... I mean, that is low profile.
It's just nice.
Gosh.
It's just like slim and trim. I like it. I honestly wanted to hate it, but I don't. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that is... Hell yeah, I'll take that. That looks really nice. Way to go, wooden camera. Way to go. Yeah, and I just like how easy it is. Oh, look at that. How easy it is to snap in a filter.
Just snippity snap. Snippity snap and then you clippity clap.
Thank God this is the last one. We're both getting tired here. My final what's cool is the Adamus Shinobi. This is Adamus's first and only monitor without a recorder. All they have released before this has recorder, all that good stuff. But this is just the straight monitor to compete with small HD. It's a 4K input, HD display. But one problem, it's HDMI only. So that means no SDI in. Now, there's some rumors that there's some bumps on it that could maybe one day be SDI. But as of right now, no SDI input. And
also no HDMI output.
Exactly. So it's not a pass-through.
Yeah, which is a real bummer.
Real bummer. This is kind of going for vloggers.
It's cheap, though.
It is cheap. And you can still do SD card LUTs, which is good. And it's only $400.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the kicker right there.
That's pretty good. And you still get all the cool features of Adamus.
Yeah.
Like the HDR stuff, right?
All that stuff. Yep, it's all there. It's basically like a Ninja.
It's not bad. It's just like, it'd be a great monitor for just like a DSLR.
Exactly. That's what they're really pushing to, because it does the mirroring thing. So if you flip it around and you're doing like selfie mode, it'll flip.
It'll flip it.
Yep, it'll flippity flap it with the clippity clips.
I like it.
Yeah, so I think that'll do it. That was a long episode. Get us talking about gear.
Unfortunately long. Probably us just like rambling on about crap you don't care about.
I know.
Our own personal, perfect equipment kit that is not relevant to you.
No, and it has a $14,000 light in it.
Some stupid light. Hopefully you were able to take some info from it and then build your own kit. If you want to post up your own ultimate equipment list, do so at fearlessfilmmakers.com in the comments.
Do it up, guys. I think that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you so much for joining us. You can get the show notes for this episode by visiting nobudgetfilmmaking.com/episode 42.
And don't forget to hop on over to